Tell me about the Even song. About, I guess I have that as a darkness lurking sort of an idea, but I could be way off in that because I got big question marks around
Yeah,
it.
it is that. It's another otherworldly atmospheric song. That's all I can really say about it. That's what it is. I mean, some of those songs were like, songs like that were just me sort of trying to write a haunting, otherworldly song. I don't know that that one has as much profundity as it may seem to.
I guess when I hear a song like that, I wonder why it didn't take over radio. I just think it's got the hooks in it. I think it's got that atmospheric idea that you say, but yet there's hooks there, and it makes it. I don't know. It just rides through my ears and into my soul. So there you go.
I like it. I thought it was a pleasant enough song to listen to, and it's pleasant enough to play. You know what they wanted, and they fought the A&R guy on this. He wanted to use the lead single he wanted from that album was. Do you know the album well enough to know what the songs are?
I'm looking at it right now.
He wanted to use "Allegory" as the lead single, and I personally think that's the best song on the record, and it's one of my favorite songs that I've ever written. Mm-hmm. But he couldn't punch that one through, and so instead they did "Under Jets."
By the way, whatever about Under Jets. I don't mean to undersell that song, but when I go to "Allegory," do you think that it could have been a lyrical thing because there was too much about
I think it was too ethereal for radio, and it was too long. It's a fairly long song for that period of time.
Right.
But "Allegory," I'll tell you, that's a simple explanation in that song. If it's not obvious to you already, that is me trying to put my personal beliefs into a song.
Yeah.
Period. That's what it is. That's my little.
My note is real. My note is realizing your humanness. So somewhere in that vicinity of
that's definitely a big chunk of it.
Yeah. Well, you should have did when I interviewed Richard Page from Mr. World, right? That Carrier song. Mm-hmm. The song's like 5 minutes and 47 seconds or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course, that's way too long for radio, and again, too ethereal for radio, right?
But they had it as a single.
They had it as a single, but when
it wasn't their lead-off single.
No, but when they shipped it to radio, it was a 4 minute and 30-second song. Mm-hmm. But the song was still 5 minutes and 47 seconds on the disc.
That's brilliant.
Is that hilarious?
Their drummer was the drummer on Enthrall, Pat Mastelotto.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I've heard his name a lot around.
Yeah, he's been playing with King Crimson forever now. If
really?
King Crimson still exists.
Yeah,
really? I had quite a great cast of players on that record.
Yeah. How about Fall So Far off of that record?
How
about Fall So Far? I got Wondering About Yourself, and
that's a very personal song.
Yeah.
That was about that song. Let's just suffice it to say this: that was my remembering myself when I was an out of control younger person. I was. There was a period in Guadalcanal where I kind of went off the rails with craziness, partying and stuff like that, and that's what that song's about.
But isn't there something there about God's grace is always there with you? When you're falling and you quote-unquote fall so far, something or somebody is there to catch you, or you're not going to end up in the absolute pits of whatever life can throw on top of you, you know?
No, really what that was me literally wondering how did I let myself go like that. And what was I thinking? Why did I have so little? Why was I looking at it through that lens? Why was I just thinking I could do anything I felt like doing anytime I wanted to do it? You know.
Have you figured out why yet?
No.
August Rain off that record.
That's about my father.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he died right before I started working on that record, and he died. He was 57 years old.
It's too young.
He died of esophageal cancer, and he died in August of the prior year, and that's 100% what that song's about.
Anything else off that record you really want to talk about? Angels and Trees?
Angels in the Trees is another song about questioning faith and the existence of God. It's pretty straightforward, I think.
Yeah.
Jackson Browne sings on it with me.
Yeah, I've always wanted to interview Jackson Browne, and every time that I get close, it's like vocal rest, and I figure, well, you're blowing me off. That's okay, but I just don't know. I mean, obviously he's written some pretty intense and political songs too, but I don't know. I just never hear really great interviews with him, and it makes me sad.
That's weird because he's a great guy. I mean,
yeah,
we were actually pretty good friends for a while back then.
Yeah.
And he wanted to sing on the record. That's why I invited him. But
nice.
Yeah, he was a guy. That surprises me. I don't know that I've read a lot of interviews with him to start with, but it surprised me because he's a very open, very warm person. I can tell you a real quick funny story about another song on that album. It's called Home.
Yeah, okay.
That was a song I wrote. This is not the funny part. I wrote that song before my father passed away, and I played it for him, and he really loved it, so I dedicated it to him on the album. Or not dedicated it to him, but I mentioned him and quoted the line from the song on the notes. But my publishing company, who shall go unnamed, decided they were going to step up with that record, and when I was working on it, and they were going to start marketing, trying to push me to like television and movies a little bit more. Publishers were.
Yeah.
And I actually had a woman from New York call me up and say, well, we're really interested in this song because they had the demo of Home. We're really interested in this song called Home. So let's talk about it a little bit. I said, okay. She said, well, is there anything you could do with it? And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, the chorus is just you singing home, 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 home. I said, well, yeah, there's a melody to it, but that's basically the chorus. And she said, well, couldn't you just expand a little bit, like to say why it's nice to be home or when you're going to go home? And I was just like, goodbye. A person from a publishing company telling somebody how to write a song. Come on.
Well, they just need
to make it more palatable.
Yeah, they just need to fit something in their square hole, and it's not quite square, you know.
Yeah, I just thought that was pretty bald. I wouldn't do that to somebody. I mean, I am a songwriter, and I wouldn't call somebody else up and go, hey, by the way, you ought to change this up.
Right. So the records that that Don sent me were he titled them, and maybe they were titled. I never saw them on BitTorrent.
I can't wait for this.
How I Spent My 30s.
That's the working title. That wasn't going to be the title for real, but
I like it. I like that title
because we had to keep coming back to it, and we spent more time in the studio than he and I had ever spent in the studio. That's what I suggested that we call it. And Southern Gothic is the other one.
Yeah.
I was actually going to call it. By that time, Southern Gothic had gotten to be too much of a thing. And plus, you do that, and then people think you think you're Faulkner or something. So that wasn't ever going to fly.
Yeah, right.
Or they think that you think you're Flannery O'Connor. No, I think the title I settled on was going to be Delerium. That's what I was planning on calling it. The other thing I was thinking about calling it was New Pagan Hymnal, and I thought, I'll never get away with that. Never, never, never. So I just thought it would be cute, you know.
Yeah. So are all those songs were recorded to become one record? Were they?
No. Well, I mean, they weren't all going to be on one record. We were going to pick through them and
make one record out of all those songs.
Make one record out of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If the Walls Could Talk. I almost thought Don Dixon wrote that with you. It sounded like a jingly jangly thing by him, but
No, I wrote it.
Yeah. Darkness Lurking, Bad Relationship going on. I do not have the lyrics. I've just listened to them, you know.
Yeah, I still occasionally play that song. You know, I was writing that song when I was watching the live footage of the slow speed chase with O.J. Simpson. Literally, it was on. I had a little project studio, and I built into the barn behind my house, and that was on.
Right.
And of course the sound was off because I'm sitting there trying to write. And I looked over and I'm like, why in the hell am I seeing this endless footage of this white Bronco being followed by police at about 5 miles an hour and, on the 405 in Los Angeles?
Right.
So I turned the sound on and found out about what was going on. I was like, wow. And so some of that made it into that song. Like, hey, I know you were dead until I saw you on TV. I'll call the law. They know my voice and I'll tell them you're with me. Don't try to run a clear-cut case of self-defense, you bet. I'm your friend. Stick around. And the best is coming yet. That's completely from watching that shit on television. God.
Do you ever sit around and go, oh my God, how many lyrics do I have in my head? Because you're pretty good about, even when you think about them, once you think about them, you can kind of get back to that song and go, you're pretty good at that.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty good at remembering a lot of lyrics until I get behind a microphone.
That's all.
I can't tell you how many times I've played Watusi Rodeo almost every single time I've walked on a stage under any circumstances since the song came out. And I can't tell you how many times I've forgotten verses to it.
Is that hilarious?
Well, because it's a song I've played so much that my mind starts to wander while I'm playing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And, I just lose it. I'll lose whole chunks of it. Another one I do that with is Little Birds. That happens to me all the time. I play Little Birds a lot, and that happens to me all the time.
I don't know that song. What record is that off
of?
Off of 2x4, yeah.
Yeah, that's off 2x4.
Yeah. Well, isn't that song about, is that a God thing about him?
Yeah, God watches us through the eyes of little birds. It's also about paranoia.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting juxtaposition.
Well, if God sees all. We were again on tour. I used to look out the window a lot when we were touring and write ideas down in my notebook. And we were driving along, and I remember John was up front, John Poe, and I sort of halfway heard the conversation he was having with somebody, one of the crew, and he said, blah, 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 and God watches us through the eyes of little birds, blah, 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 blah. I was like, what did you just say? He said, which part? And I said, something about God and little birds. He's like, oh, yeah, God watches us through the eyes of little birds. And I said, where in the world did you get that from? He said, well, I think I saw it on a bumper sticker. And I just said, oh, my God. And I sat down, and like 15 minutes later, I had that song. It was one of those gifts where you just get it,
Yeah. Wow.
That's one of my most well-known songs of all things. I'm surprised you don't know that one very well, because that's a thing that every time I've started playing that song, the audience starts yelling.
I don't know if it just didn't grab, for some reason that song didn't grab me, Frank, right? Like other songs on that record did.
That's fine. That's fine. It's just funny because it's an odd song for it to be as popular with audiences as it is.
Well, I'm trying to think. I'm jumping over to Vista now, right? A song like that, I now recognize that song, but in 1989 when that came out, I think it was just the last song on the record, and it just didn't hit me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just in a different time in my life now, so when I was listening through to these records again because of this conversation, I went, how did I miss that song? I mean, there's something about that song for me right now is like, again, this trying to make sense thing, right? Still, and feeling like a loser is kind of the notes I have around it, but I don't know, maybe that Little Bird just hasn't hit me yet for whatever reason.
That's fine, and it doesn't have to.
But you want to talk about that song Vista while we're there?
Oh, we can. Yeah, sure.
While we're in that neighborhood.
Yeah, Rhett Crow she learned that at camp. It was another campfire song. That whole first part of it, and all the mumbo jumbo intro, is the song verbatim. That's the whole song. And she used to sing that to me, and I was, that's so goofy. What is it? And so finally I thought, I'm going to take that and stick it in a song. So I did. And the rest of it is just, it's just foolishness.
Yeah.
It really has no serious import.
Yeah, I don't know why it hit me. Just did.
Oh, I love the song, and the times that Guadalcanal's gotten back together over the years, we always play that one.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
Wow.
No, I love that song. It's just, I'd love to assign it with some deeper meaning, but I'm afraid it has none.
Thank you, sir. How about the song before that off of that record, 10 Laws, about religion messing things up?
That's a song that I wish we had pushed a little bit more. We hardly ever played it live. That's one of my favorite songs that I wrote on that album. And, we probably shouldn't have we used an early sampler to do the sort of angel choir on that, and that dates the song, and I kind of wish we hadn't. That was Dixon's idea. He had just got this sampler. He's like, we got to use this on everything. And, I remember he and I even got in an argument about it, which was rare for us to argue. But that was based on an essay I read by Joseph Campbell. And it was just, the essay wasn't saying this so much, but this is what I took away from it. It made me write the song that, in my humble opinion, to try to live your life based on a set of rules that were conceived 2,000 years ago is not working. I always really liked that song. I need to resurrect that song. I need to play it in my live shows. Although it's a downer, I don't know if...
Another song that I'm dovetailing in that is off your unreleased stuff called Month of Sundays.
Oh, wow. I hadn't thought about that in a long time.
I wondered if that is almost from the chair of the preacher, if you will, who is full of himself or herself.
Think what those lyrics.
And religion's all misguided and messing up and blah, blah, blah.
Bless me for what I do receive. All down fire, that's the company. At the door, the ocean dry and leave me stranded on. I can't believe I remember these lyrics. What's all my problem is I'll remember my lyrics, but I won't remember how to play the song on guitar. Yeah, that's not a bad interpretation of it. It was. I guess the simplest way to put it was just about confusion and trying to find a specific direction out of that confusion. Is that fair enough?
Are you still looking for God?
Sure.
How do you do that?
Within, internally.
Ever go to church?
I went to Mass not too long ago to hear somebody very close to me sing in the choir.
Oh, okay.
Done that a couple of times this year, in fact.
Does it feel like a place you can find God?
I think that God's there, yeah, but I don't know if that's where I would connect.
Yeah, I'm a guy who thinks that I'm as close to God now talking with you as when I'm shooting baskets and talking with my family and potentially sitting in a pew once in a while. Yeah,
I think God is everywhere and in everything. So, I said as much of that in allegory.
Mm-hmm.
Even the wind and the trees is the allegory, and all I am and all everything is the allegory was an allegory for an allegory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think I still question, yeah. And the older I get, probably the more I question. So now we get the train. See, we're getting all the forms of communication.
Yeah, really.
We had an airplane, we had an ambulance, and we had a train.
All this transportation.
Yeah.
The thing that I think I'm better at, I have probably more questions, but I think I'm more at peace with understanding that I won't know all those answers.
Yeah.
Where I think when I was younger, even just diving into your 2x4 record and trying to dive into my own soul and try to figure out life, and go, oh, this is what it all means.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I don't know if anybody knows what it all means, but I think I get glimpses of it.
People sure pretend they do, though.
Yeah, and they write books and make a lot of money, and it's funny because somebody did a marketing research thing for my radio show, probably in the mid-'90s, and they said the gist of it was, my whole thing was, you've got questions, I've got more. That was my whole thing.
That's clever.
Now, clever, right? But it was true.
No, I mean, I'm sure it's true. It's just a clever way to put it.
But what they came back with was people don't want to consume entertainment that is searching. They want to consume entertainment that gives them answers.
I don't agree with that.
And well, I guess it's because, I guess I went with it because I didn't change anything I did, by the way. But I just went, that's the dumbing down of society. They just want to turn around and go, this is the way you fix something, follow this way, and your life will be better. Eat better, God, pray better, whatever. And I thought, I have questions about all those things. If I should be eating meat or not eating meat, you know?
Boy, me too, buddy. I went vegan a couple of years ago.
Are you still there?
Not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now. I had a pretty significant change in my life just recently, and in the midst of that change, how can I put it? Well, I got married recently.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and my wife is. She always jokes that she's vegan friendly.
I love that phrase.
But right around and a little bit before we actually got married, and we just had a little private ceremony, and then we took a few days off and went down to St. Simon's Island, which is off the coast of Georgia. But we were kind of like, woohoo! You know, we eat whatever we want, do all this kind of stuff, and just have a nice time. And so, I guess the honeymoon's not over yet.
Yeah, right.
I got myself. I keep telling myself, okay, now you got to get back on the horse and stop this foolishness. So, sometime within the next few weeks, I'll be back to it. But yeah, I have a lot of specific issues about animal products, and we won't go into those. But it wasn't so much a health reason that I went vegan. It was more of a philosophical reason.
Yeah, well, let's not get into it by me saying I've watched enough documentaries to watch the way they feed cattle and chickens, and I wouldn't put that stuff in my body, but in essence I'm putting it into my body, so that's why I chose to go vegetarian. But I will say I'm a vegetarian most of the time, but when there's bacon around...
What is it with bacon, man?
What is it?
I swear to God, my whole life, you know, bacon was what you had occasionally with eggs.
Right.
And nobody really made that... It wasn't this big zeitgeist, you know, but now it is, and it has been. Yeah. I mean, bacon, everything.
Yeah.
You know, when you can actually go out and buy bacon flavored vodka, then something's up.
Well, I mean,
or any of the other stuff that's bacon flavored. I mean, it's incredible what's bacon flavored ice cream.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, there's a really cool. What do they call this now? It's another buzzword. I guess artisanal ice cream place here in Decatur.
Okay.
My wife and I went a few nights back, and they had bacon ice cream. I did not have it because why would you? But you know, it's like.
But what are you people doing in the South with chicken and waffles? What is that?
You mean we invented that?
That's crap.
No, have you ever tried it?
Nope.
Well, you probably. What part of Michigan are you in?
Grand Rapids.
Oh, probably can't find it there.
Oh, I can. Yeah, it's on some menus now, but it probably isn't authentic.
I don't know from chicken and waffles. I don't know where that came from, but I know it's a pretty decent combo. There's a place in Arlington, Virginia, that a friend of mine took me to several years back, and it's called Marvin, just Marvin, no S. And it's a Belgian chicken and waffle place. Apparently, Marvin Gaye spent some time in Belgium, and being from America, he was all about chicken and waffles. But he introduced his own slant with the Belgian waffle and the chicken and collard greens. Now, having said that, a couple of years later, I did the tofu version of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was fried tofu, waffle, and collard greens, and it was damn good too.
Was it really?
Yes, it was, and I invented it.
The Attaway. It's the Attaway concoction.
Yeah, or something.
Is I Fell Down anywhere reminiscent to Fall So Far?
Yeah, kind of. It's not really about the same thing. It's just about failing and trying again.
Yeah.
I like that song, too. I'd love to do something else with that.
Yeah.
That actually started life as a song called Heydledle Diddle. Thank God I changed the lyrics.
Does anybody have a song called Heydledle?
I did.
Do you have one? You have one now?
I did.
Oh, you did, right, right.
That was that song. No. No, I do not. It's funny, though, I started playing with a guy recently, a drummer named Robert Schmidt, who's actually one of the swimming pool cues, if you know them.
Yeah.
And he and I had played together right about the time I started writing those songs for that record, and he said, you know what, let's work up Heydledle Diddle, and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot it was even called that, and he remembered the lyrics and everything.
Nice. Hey, the other song that I actually saw on YouTube that you did under the guise of Blasting Cap, which I'm calling your new band.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Is the song Breath?
Yes.
That's a pretty heavy song, I thought.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I like playing. I play that in my acoustic duo, too. That was about... Gosh, I don't know how specific I want to be about this.
I jotted down about realizing some new life and maybe a God's grace thing somewhere throughout.
Well, it was inspired by a breakup that my first wife and I had in the 90s, and excuse me, that was the model for the song lyrically. Now that had a happy ending because even though we're not married anymore, we're still very good friends. So, but that's kind of where that was sort of what that song was about, actually. And I mean, it can be construed successfully to be about more than that, but on the surface, that's what it was about. Basically, I'm saying, I can see a house by the side of the road, standing empty, cold, and spare. Once the windows glowed with light, but too much went too wrong in there. I can hear a radio crackle with other people's stories, static waves of souls to save, and tales of fallen glories, and it almost takes my breath away. I'm saying it almost takes my breath away because in a situation like that, one may feel so removed from it that you don't even really know how to react to it properly. So that's what that line's about. That's a real crowd favorite, that song.
Yeah, well, make it. Yeah, are you going to record something under Blasting Cap, or are you just going to play under it right now?
We're not even doing it right now. We're taking an extended hiatus.
One more song off of that. I keep going back to How I Spent the 30s record, so I'm not even sure how do you title it?
You can call it.
How do you title it?
Delerium still works for me.
Still Delerium. Okay. Jack the Ripper.
I don't even have a copy of that song. For some reason, all of the cuts I've got from those sessions, that one got left out. I don't have. I have to call Dixon. That's. I'll tell you what it was about. It's pretty self-explanatory. It was about this hope that I've had that one day when we die, it's all explained.
Yes.
That everything's so you get the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Like I used Jack the Ripper because I'm sure it's going to be anticlimactic if I ever find out who he was, because it's just going to be some guy that, I mean, even ripperologists. I've read a lot about that subject, and people who are considered well-respected ripperologists, if you will, they all agree that pretty much that if you were to find out who it was, they'd all go, who? Like, it's not any of the people that are popular suspects. It's probably some guy nobody remembered, nobody ever heard of. It's some psychopath.
Yeah.
But that's it. I just hope everything's explained. I really do want to know about those things. I want to know what happened to the Anasazi, and I really do want to know what the deal was with Kaspar Hauser. All of that. And it'd be kind of cool to know where Jimmy Hoffa is actually buried.
My hope is that really, truly, when I die, there's either a huge press conference, we all have our hands raised, we have all these questions.
Who shot Kennedy?
Yeah, right, yeah, or the magic
That'd probably be my first.
That, right.
Yeah, what happened to that?
I'm sure mine would probably be more personal, like, why didn't I fill in the blank? Son of a bitch that I am.
See, I think I can answer all those things myself.
Yeah, but I don't want to answer them, so I'd rather leave them for later, right?
Right.
I don't want answers. I mean, I don't want questions. I want answers. Or we just become part of the all-knowing, and we'll just go, "Oh, that's who Jack the Ripper was. Okay, that's how Kennedy was shot. Okay, you know," and you'll just, and then all your curiosities will be filled, and then you will be able to emanate, hopefully, light and love, and spread yourself over the grounds that is whatever all the worlds are out there that have living entities. You know.
Well put. Well, I tell you, my fear is that when I do get the knowledge of who killed Kennedy, they're gonna say Oswald, and I'm gonna go, no, it's not. I don't believe you. It was a conspiracy.
Yeah, you and Oliver Stone, you just can't believe it. I won't believe it.
Yeah, I don't know what I believe about that anymore. But that movie was fun to watch, as wildly fictional as it was.
Yeah. 2 more songs off the other solo record. I'll ask you about Stranger and Answer. Those 2.
Oh, yeah. I'm planning on doing something with that one.
Yeah, about life. And I have it down. I guess maybe those questions that we're asking, right? Is where does life take us, and wondering about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because of the chorus. Every day's a long, hard ride. Miracles are dreams in water. That's actually one of my favorite lines I've ever written. Yeah, miracles are dreams in water. Rumor has it just inside is a stranger. The stranger inside.
Do you like that lyric because do you know what you mean, or do you like it because you don't know what it means exactly, as it were?
No, I know what it means. I like it because I know what it means.
What does dream and water mean then? If miracles are dream and water, how do dreams and water mix? In my mind, like oil and water, right?
No. What I'm trying to say there basically is that one could make miracles happen, and it's simpler than we probably think. That's where I was going with it. Sort of like, think of it in these terms, like,
I love that, Murray. Yeah, nice.
Dreams just add water.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe like we were just talking about. We find out all this stuff is so simple. We were just looking so far beyond it we couldn't see the forest, right?
Yeah, but the whole point of that is that's why I keep saying rumor has it just inside that is a stranger. Because we are strangers to ourselves in so many ways like that, in my opinion. And that's the idea. A miracle probably isn't.
No, you are in complete pause.
Yep, I knew that was going to happen because it was getting really sluggish, yeah. What did you get? What's that?
I think I got most of what I wanted out of Stranger. And plus, I figure it's a good indicator that we need to wrap things up because I appreciate it, and I just appreciate it. So let me ask, was there anything you wanted to say about the song Answer?
That song's about Rhett. Now it can be told, Fab listeners. That song is about Rhett. Rhett and I were, as she would put it, sweethearts for a long time, and still were right at the very beginning of Guadalcanal, and then we split, and she's always been one of the most significant people to me, and I to her, and we're still very, very close friends. And that song was just a way of me sort of saying, sort of airing my regrets. Pretty As Pretty Does, and Everything But Good Luck off of Flip Flop. I guess I kind of dovetailed both of those and thought there's some superficial living and materialism going on. Well, you have to talk to John about that. He wrote them? He wrote them. I think Pretty As Pretty Does is one of the best songs on that record. John tended to get a little preachy with his lyrics. And those are not... I mean, I don't want to criticize him. I mean, they're good songs, especially Pretty As, but that's just not quite my style to do that sort of social criticism like that. Is The Likes of You? Is that you? No, that's John too. That's a great song, I think. That's about the devil. Well, was there ever a time when you thought things are, these words are great, but they're just not mine, and I would rephrase them, and so I just can't sing those? Yeah, that this other one that you mentioned, John's. What was it?
Pretty is, or Everything But Good
Everything
Luck.
But Good Luck. Yeah. That I was kind of like, that's, you know, I'm going to sing it because I'm the singer, but that you can't always personalize everything.
Did you guys get into battles about songwriting and stuff toward the end?
Not really. Not too bad.
Yeah. Okay.
No. I mean, you know, Jeff and I were real good because we would edit each other when we'd write together, or even if we weren't writing together, you know, one of us would say, maybe let's simplify this section, or maybe cut this line a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Did you actually play a 2x4 on the 2x4 album ever?
No, never occurred to me.
Come on. Well, I just remember reading Neil Peart, who I've always been a fan of his lyrics from Rush. Actually played a piece of plywood on one record, and it made me laugh. You know, so I had a wee bit of hope for that wood being taken in place.
I played an ocarina on a song. That's about as wacky as I ever got.
Murray Attaway, Ocarina of Time. Okay, so Things Fall Apart.
Yeah, that's actually Jeff and I. That's a song we wrote together. I think John had a hand in that one too. What do you think it's about? It's about exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, world's all messed up, you know, and there's I think I throw God into things a little bit early because I always wonder.
No. I threw God into lots of things where God didn't belong to.
But you know, sometimes I go.
And then I recorded them.
And then somebody in Grand Rapids, Michigan went, "Hey, I think he's thinking about God," and you go, and then we talked 30 years later.
Yeah, I think I had the idea for Things Fall Apart from the Yeats poem, The Second Coming, just that one line. Of course, the song has nothing much to do with the meaning of the Yeats poem. But, yeah, I think we kind of all pitched in on that one, and God, things did fall apart in that song, sort of. It's got several different perspectives, I think. So that's a...
All right, last song I'm going to ask you about is Winds of Change.
That's a Jeff song. Yeah, and it's pretty. I think it's pretty self-explanatory too. If you interpret that as well, how do you interpret it?
More life is confusing, but also great at the same time.
There you go.
And somehow we must, or we should, accept the unknown. So
I think I've lost you again.
I said, can you hear me now?
Hello?
Hear me. Hello. I see you're moving. I can hear all you.
I hear you now.
I can hear you.
Well, for a second. Hello?
Hello. La la la. Ba ba ba. Ding ding ding. Jang jang jang.
Yeah, I lost you a little bit. Our connection's going south.
Hello. All right. We have to be done here. There we go.